Hi guys, welcome to my channel Roots for Software Engineer. In this video, I will cover about importing, exporting related React.js. Okay. Now let me take first file in Visual Studio. Okay. Now look at here. For class nodes, I will create one class text file. Then take here class dot txt text format. Okay. And here we'll write nodes related to our React.js. Okay. Now today I will cover topic related to import and exporting in React.js. Okay. Now import and export is possible in two ways. Okay. Now we have two ways. We have two ways two ways to do. Okay. Now export and import statements. Export and import statement. Okay. Now we'll consider here. Okay. Now here we'll go with first topic, call it as export. Okay. Now component we need to export. So it is possible by using two ways. One is named export. One is named export, and second one is nothing but default export. Named export and default export. Okay. Now named export is possible by using the keyword call it as export, and we need to give beside of the function or class component itself. I will show practically. And next, default export means we need to follow export keyword with the default keyword. Okay. Next we need to take here function name. We need to take function name. We need to take function name, or we can take class name. Okay. This is related to the syntax of our default export, and this is the name mode export. Okay. Next, for the name mode export we can write another point. Okay. Now in one component in one component. Okay. Now we can build multiple named exports. We can build multiple named export components. Okay. Now in one component we can build multiple named exports. Okay. And next named exports. And next one for the default. Okay. In one component. Okay. One in one component only one default export possible. Only one default export possible. We cannot do multiple default exports. Okay. And next we'll go with the theory for the importing statement also. Okay. Now take your import statement, and for the import also again we have two types of imports. One is named import. One is named import, and second one is nothing but default import. Okay. Second one is nothing but the default import. Okay. Now imagine one component we exported with the named, then we need to import here by using import flower base for the named is mandatory. Okay. Now after this one we need to take here statement from. Okay. Now what is the component, and that component name we need to write. Okay. Now let me take once, just wait. Okay. Now I will go with your single quotes. Okay, single quotes, and in the single quote I will go with as component name. Okay. Now these all the things I will tell practically, don't worry. Okay. And next for the default we need to take import without flower base. Okay. Now component name here also component name, here also component name. Okay. And next from okay. Now we need to take here component file name. We need to take our component file. Okay. Now for default, okay, now write down another note point. For default. Okay, now import is possible with any name, with any name possible. Okay, with any name possible, with any name possible. Okay, now this both the things will do practically. For that one, first I will create a one component folder, and in the component folder, okay, now I will create one file. I will create one file, call it as export and import dot jsx enter. Okay, now next I will create first with the functional component. So syntax is import react from react library. Next, later on we need to take a functional component with the function keyword. Okay, now followed with the function name, I will consider as demo parenthesis. Component name first letter should be capital, and instead we need to go with the return keyword, and inside the return keyword, okay, now inside the return keyword we need to write our elements. Okay, now I will write here one element, okay, by using h1 tag. Okay, now by using h1 tag I will write one what is the statement, and that statement is nothing but welcome to named export, welcome to named export. Okay, now this component I need to export to, okay, now app.jsx, right? So named export means beside of the function we need to use export keyword. Okay, beside of the function we need to use export keyword. This is nothing but named export. This is nothing but the named export. Okay, now another process we can take, that process is nothing but, okay, now let me give comment line. Okay, now that is nothing but default export. Okay, now observe carefully. For the default export, let me give. Okay, now observe. For the default export, default keyword and followed with the React component from the React. Okay, next later on we need to create a function, then take a function keyword followed with the function name demo parenthesis flower base. Okay, inside we need to write elements, right? So I will write element, call it as, okay, now h1 tag. Okay, now in the h1 tag I will take statement as welcome to default export, welcome to default export. Okay, and we need to go with the default export. So downside of the function we need to use default export keyword with the default keyword and followed with the component name, call it as demo, component name, call it as demo. This is nothing but the default export syntax. Okay, it is nothing but the default export syntax. Okay, now default export we can see, and this one beside of the function means we can say as named export. Okay, now both will do practically. Okay, now first I will import my default export in the app.jsx. Okay, now take here importing statement import. Next, what is our function name? Function name is demo. Okay, now default having two roles. What is it? Default, which we can do with the component name, or for the default we can go with our name also. Okay, with any name is possible, with any name is possible. So first I will go with the default name demo with the components of, okay, named what is it, export and importing statement. So we need to call here, right? Then go with your comment line for this one and call here by using demo and close this calling statement. Okay, and execute your program whether it is executing on browser or not, check it. So change the directory to the, okay, now React, and later on npm run div enter. Okay, it will generate one local URL. Then go to this URL by using go enter. Then it will redirect to the browser. Okay, now it is giving default export output successfully. Okay, and not only by using the default with the same function name, we can use our own name also, right? Then take here our own name, then comment this one and import your default by using any name. Then I will take name as test from. Okay, now we need to go with here single quote. Okay, now forward slash with the components, right? Dot forward slash components and forward slash. Okay, import and export. Then call your function component name. Okay, component name, but component name always first letter should be capital, remember this one. Okay, now it is giving same output. We can go with our component name, we can go with our, okay, exporting component name, or we can use our own name for the default export. Okay, this is comes under default export. Okay, now let me go with your name mode export. Okay, let me go with the name mode export and comment it default. Okay, and same thing here also, comment these lines because we commented in. Okay, now that file, right? Comment and go with your name mode export. Take your name mode export with the, okay, now component name and utilize here by using demo and, okay, demo and close it. Okay, now again check it browser, it is giving name mode export output or not. Yes, it is giving, but here I will try with, my own name. Okay, I will consider my own name demo1. Then what it is giving, once check. Okay, now it is giving output or it is giving error. Okay, it is not giving anything. Then go to inspect. Okay, and check it in the console. Okay, it is giving one error. What is that error? The requested module, okay, does not provide the export name demo1. Okay, means already I said rule, name would export always we need to go with the what is it, component name. We cannot take our own defined name. Okay, and name would exports possible number of things in the one component, but default always is possible only one. Okay, this is comes under export and import theory as well as practical programs, and will continue in next class with the what is it, fragments concept. Okay, now bye guys.